Abe, thanks so much for being with us. Your reaction to what's happening with this caravan and as we're also learning that these migrants are going to be moved using federal dollars further into the country.
Thanks for having me on, Katrina and Bob. So we have to look at how we got here. I mean, even before Joe Biden took office, we had caravans coming and they were wearing his shirts saying, Joe Biden let us in. And now that we've had this lawless border, which Joe Biden has advertised to the world, it's no longer just these poor migrants coming across. I mean, right now you're having so many countries represented who are pouring across our border. Now it's 150 countries in the last year. But, as mentioned previously, this caravan has up to 15,000. And the Mexican officials, they're giving them visas. They're letting them travel through Mexico to come to the United States. And what you're having is 250,000 apprehensions every single month. This is unsustainable. And if you look at it, it's all done because of the policies of the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administration. So Arizona is really on the front lines of this, but every single state is a border state because, as you heard previously, they're shipping off the illegal immigrants all over the country. And so I want Americans to realize how bad and how dire the situation is. The cartels are becoming much more brazen, and they're actually encouraging a lot of the illegal immigrants to start attacking law enforcement officers. Because right now what we're having is they're not just smuggling drugs. The humanitarian smuggling that's going on is also a very big deal. But on day one as Attorney General, what I intend to do is classify the cartels as a terrorist organization. And what that would happen, it would have enhanced sentencing guidelines on a lot of the drug smuggling and all the crimes that they're committing.
Well, that's interesting because I was going to ask you what you would do as AG because all the policies you're talking about are federal. Where does the state come into the picture in the process in which what you're able to enforce has an effect?
Great question, Bob. So I no longer see this as an immigration issue. If you actually look at it, this is a national security issue, and the federal government has failed to protect Arizona's border. So at this point, Arizona needs to take matters into our own hands and classify what's going down at the border as an invasion under Article 4, Section 4, that the federal government has failed to protect us. And what that would do is we have the ability, the current Attorney General of Arizona has already called for this, to use Article 1, Section 10 of the State War Powers Act. So Arizona is going to take a much more aggressive line on this. I mean, there's only 4 border states that share a border with Mexico. 2 happen to be Republican who actually care about it. But Arizona, I no longer believe in the fallacy that this is an immigration issue. This is a national security problem. And this is why, I'm honored to have had the endorsements of Trump's entire national security team, Rick Grenell, Kash Patel, Robert O'Brien, and Chris Miller. I mean, I think we recognize what's going down at the border is just completely orchestrated by Joe Biden and the radical left.
Yeah, and this migrant caravan comes as President Biden is heading to Los Angeles for a regional agreement on managing migrant flows at the Summit of Americas. But we're learning that the presidents, of course, of Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador are not even going to be in attendance. Can you consider this a Summit of the Americas with many of the heads of these nations not even attending the meeting?
Exactly right. And think about it. They're coinciding the caravan with the Summit of Americas. These illegal immigrants aren't aware of that. It's all intentional and orchestrated by outside groups. So, this is what we're talking about. This is a criminal enterprise that's going on, and the cartels have complete operational control of the border. So many of the cartel members are former Mexican special forces. They're flying drone operations. I mean, they recognize that our border is completely open, and they're taking advantage of it. They know the laws better than we know our laws. And so, this is why I talk about the states have such an important role to play because we can no longer rely on the federal government.
Abe Hamadeh, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.